Good evening, everyone. I am Shannon Rutherford, the town planner for the town of Farmington. And we are going to get started this evening with the organizational meeting for the Town Plan and Zoning Commission. Immediately following, we will move into our regular agenda to process the applications. For anyone from the public that is called in for the public hearings, those will take part as part of the regular agenda, meeting agenda, and will be processed in accordance to that agenda, and you will have an opportunity to speak as each of those items come up. We typically have the applicants present, and then the commission asks questions, and then we open it up to those that have called in to offer comment to the commission if you so choose. So I just wanted to give everyone a rundown for the evening so you knew what to expect coming through. And we will get started. So as on the screen indicates, we'll start with the organizational meeting. I will do a roll call of the members. I will start with our regular members and then alternates that are in attendance, just to confirm who is online with us this evening. I've got Patrick Carrier.
Here.
Mike Graboulas.
Here.
Scott Halstead.
Here.
Inez St. James.
Here.
And I will note for the record that regular members Marcy Schwartz and Barbara Brenneman are absent this evening. I will move to the alternates. Phil Dunn.
Present.
James Ratcliffe.
Here.
And Liz Sanford.
Here.
Thank you. I also note that for the purposes of the organizational meeting and election of officers and the new business item review of bylaws, all members have full voting powers. That's per the bylaws and confirmed by the town attorney. So at this point, I will open it up for nomination for chair, please.
This is Scott Halstead. I'd like to nominate Inez St. James for chair.
Okay, is there a second to that nomination?
A second. This is James.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations for chair this evening? Okay, hearing none. I'd like to do a roll call vote for the chair, please. Patrick Carrier,
Yes.
Mike Graboulas,
Yes.
Scott Halstead,
Yes.
Inez St. James,
Yes.
Bill Dunn,
Abstain.
James Ratcliffe,
Yes.
and Liz Sanford.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, with that, I would now like to take a nomination for secretary.
This is Inez St. James. I would like to nominate Scott Halstead for secretary. He's dedicated to the town, acted as a secretary in the past, and deserves the role.
Thank you. Is there a second for this nomination?
I second him. This is Liz Sanford.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations for secretary? Okay, hearing none, I'd like to do a roll call vote again, please. Patrick Carrier.
Yes.
Thank you. Mike Graboulas,
Yes.
Scott Halstead,
Yes.
Inez St. James,
Yes.
Phil Dunn.
Abstain.
Thank you. James Ratcliffe
Yes.
and Liz Sanford.
Yes.
Okay. Inez and Scott, congratulations. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
then Inez, technically I can turn it over to you at this point to handle the new business item of review of bylaws if that's something the commission wants to consider this evening. It's also something that can be discussed at any point through the calendar year if somebody thinks there's a change that needs to be made.
Thank you. So, I, of course, had a chance to review the bylaws. I am not sure if everyone else had a chance. Do the commissioners have any changes at this time?
I do not.
Do we need more? Okay. Do we need more time, or are we okay with what we have?
I think it's okay the way it is.
I agree.
Okay,
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity, Shannon. So the bylaws will stay as is, and if there are any changes, like you said, during the year, we will revisit.
okay, very good. All right. Thank you. And with that, then we will close. Well, I suppose Inez, you should close. It's your meeting. You can close the
Okay.
organizational meeting and then we can go into the.
You
other
got
one.
it. Okay. Well, thank you for your help also. Thank you to all the commissioners. Scott, congratulations. I am personally looking forward to serving the town for next 2 years. So thank you very much. And at this point, I guess we're all done with the election of officers, and that portion of the meeting is closed. And it's 7:07.
Correct. Okay. All right, so we will move on to other matters. So the
Okay.
agenda, and I do have the legal notice. So the legal notice is up on the screen for everyone.
So, thank you. So before we start, Shannon, we do need to appoint commissioners for Commissioner Brenneman and Schwartz.
Correct.
Okay, and typically, I believe that's done in alphabetical order?
Yes, we do it in a standard rotation, and since we're at the top of the year with new members, correct, we would start fresh.
Okay, so according to what I have, Phil Dunn and James Ratcliffe would be participating and voting members today. Do you have the same?
I do have the same.
Okay,
Yes.
Phil and James, you're good with that?
Yes.
Let's rock and roll.
All right, let's do it. Thank you. All right, Scott, you're on.
All right, so Town of Farmington Town Plan and Zoning Commission, notice is hereby given that the Town Plan and Zoning Commission will hold an online public hearing on Monday, January 10, 2022 at 7 p.m. on the following applications. Alpine Energy LLC, application for special permit and site plan approval for specialty food market at 6 Park Pond Road, B1 zone. Robert Checkinger Jr., ASLA, application for amendment to the zoning regulations. Article 2, Section 1.b.5, charitable and philanthropic institution. Town of Farmington / Eversource, application for special permit to remove 5 trees within the scenic road portion of Old Mountain Road between Mountain Spring Road and the northern connection with Talcott Notch Road per ordinance 151. Interested parties are encouraged to participate in this online public hearing. The link to this meeting may be found on the Town of Farmington's website at the link on your screen. A copy of this proposal is online as well on the website on the link on your screen, or by calling the Planning Department at Farmington Town Hall at 860-675-2325. Dated at Farmington, Connecticut, this 22nd day of December, 2021, Town Plan and Zoning Commission, Inez St. James Chair.
All right, thank you very much, Scott.
You're welcome.
You got it. So just a reminder, commissioners, we are here on our own time. Let's get the motions made as efficiently as possible. I know it's difficult to do this through Zoom. Sometimes there's a delay, but I would really appreciate your participation. All right, the first new business item that we have is from Hal Johansson. And is Mr. Johansson presenting, Shannon?
I believe
I am
he's
here.
on the call. Hi, Mr. Johansson, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Good. Can you provide, I know you did this last week for the Inland Wetlands Commission. Would you mind going through basically the same discussion this evening for the Town Plan and Zoning Commission so that these these folks understand what you are looking to do with your solar array system.
Sure. I'm planning on putting in solar power to the house. And to do that, I'm putting up a 28 panel solar array. And it's gonna be about 65 feet away from my house, which is in the middle of 5 acres of land. So it shouldn't impact very many people. They won't even know it's there.
By Posigen.
Posigen Solar is doing the install. They're putting screws into the ground, so it'll be very little impact into the ground. Not putting in any cement or anything like that. No sonotubes. That's about it, I guess.
Okay. All right. I think that's fine. And the commission can then ask questions.
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Johansson. All right, commissioners, Patrick, you're first. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, Patrick Carrier. Yeah, are you cutting down trees in order to install this, or is that area big enough already?
That area is big enough already, and it's going to be at the edge of some woodland. It's on the edge of my lawn.
Okay, I see that. Thank you.
Are you all set, Patrick?
Yes, I am all set.
Thank you. Mike?
No questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Scott?
No questions for me either. Thank you.
And Phil?
I don't have any questions. I would just commend the applicant for taking on this project and installing a renewable energy resource. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's awesome. And James?
Yeah, I'll echo what Phil said. Congratulations. Nice project, and I have no questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Liz, please. Liz, do you have any questions?
Nope, just gonna say, glad to see you're putting in solar. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The only question I have is just really more like policy. Did all the communication was made with abutting property owners? Any neighbors have any concerns?
Yes, and this is Shannon Rutherford.
Sure.
There is no need because it's not a public hearing. They didn't have to notify their abutting neighbors.
Thank you.
Yeah, it already has gone through the Inland Wetlands Commission and was approved with Inland Wetlands.
Thank you. Thank you for setting me straight. And
No problem.
Yeah, I'm new, right?
No.
And Mr. Johansson already said that it's not even visible. So, all right. So I do not have any questions. Thank you, Mr. Johansson. And commissioners, we need a motion and a second, please.
Madam Chair, so I've been doing the motions, but my internet connection is like 99%. So I think I won't do them this meeting. I could hear good, but I think it's just going to take longer. So if somebody else can do it.
So Shannon, would that go just alphabetical?
Again, any commission member can make the motion. So it
Okay.
doesn't have to be any one specific person, anyone. And typically it's, because we do have some new members this evening. So it's simply a statement of, I make a motion to approve. We prefer the motions may be made in the affirmative. So make a motion to approve, and you can read the agenda item just as is, and you can say as presented or add a condition if something had been discussed. And then we'll get a second, and then it goes to discussion amongst the commission members. And that way, if there's a tweak to the terms of the motion, we can do it at that particular point in time. And then it can go to a vote. But typically we always make the motion in the affirmative. And then you can always choose to vote against it if that's your choice.
Thank you, Shannon.
I can pop the agenda back up so the wording's there for anyone that would like to take on that task.
I'm no Patrick, but I'll take a shot at it. So Patrick does a good job with it. This is Scott Halstead. I'd like to make a motion to approve the application to install a ground-mounted solar array at 48 River Road.
Second,
Patrick Carrier, I second.
okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 I think that was unanimous, but any opposition? Okay, application is approved, Mr. Johansson. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank
luck.
you.
Thank you. All right, the next item on our list is an application from Holy Family Passionist Retreat Center. And who do
Yes.
we have presenting?
I believe Mike Henderson is on the call.
I am on the call. I think I was hoping that Luke would be on by now because he was doing.
He is, Luke
Yeah.
is on and the other Mike is also on. So
Yes, I'm
I'll-
joined by Mike Brennan, one of our volunteers from the Facilities Committee, and Mike Henderson. My name is Luke Giroux. I'm the Director of Administrative Operations at Holy Family.
Okay, if you could go ahead and present your application to the commission so they have a full understanding of what you're looking to do. I have all the application materials that were submitted, so I can move to any page that you would like. But if you could just for the record, explain to the commission what you folks are looking to do, please.
Absolutely. Thank you, Shannon. And thank you everyone for being here tonight. As I said, my name is Luke Giroux. I'm the Director of Administrative Operations at Holy Family Retreat Center. We are looking to Holy Family, just a little bit of background. Holy Family was established as a Catholic retreat house 70 years ago. We provide weekend retreats to men, women, and youth from parishes all over Southern New England. We also offer Sunday evening mass each week, as well as other programs that we offer throughout the year. Holy Family also does a robust amount of facility rental and conference business. We rent out the facility to Catholic schools and other secular and non-secular organizations that come to us from around Connecticut as well as the Northeast. When COVID hit, as you can imagine, we not only transformed much of our offerings to be online, but any gatherings we had on campus made use of whatever outdoor space we had. From May through October, for the past 2 years, we moved our Sunday Mass outdoors into the parking lot. Consistently brought 150 to 200 people each week. Watching the weather for rain week after week for the past 2 years has been a struggle for sure. And as you can imagine, we quickly recognized that a protected outdoor space such as a pavilion would be a terrific addition to our campus. So we're looking to construct a pavilion, primary purpose of which is to provide an outdoor space for our Sunday masses. We're also hoping to have it be used as a valuable asset for other programs as well as for our facility rental business. A detail that I think the commission might find useful is that the company we're using for the actual structure is the same company that Winding Trails used for their boathouse pavilion 4 years ago. And the type and size of the structure we're proposing is essentially the same. We submitted an application to the commission. The topographic map that Shannon has there, I don't know if you can blow that up at all, Shannon, just to give people a little bit more of a perspective, but we're on Middle Road there, 303 Middle Road, right on the border of West Hartford. West Hartford is across the street, and then residences around that black line there to the northeast. We have 50 acres of land. The closest residence to where the pavilion is being proposed is about 300 feet from the structure. I know that Shannon provided us with a number of questions or things for consideration. I can move to go right to those now, or whatever your wish.
Sure, if you have answers to those, why don't you go ahead and address those right now?
I do, yep. So item number one, roof leaders from the pavilion should be directed to infiltration galleys or to the lawn in a manner that avoids erosion and water flow. Final review and approval by the engineering division shall be required to prevent any downstream impacts. So our response to that is we will absolutely be getting the site surveyed, and any water flow management system will be professionally designed and engineered to adjust grading as well as water runoff requirements. At this point, we don't know specifics about what the solution will be, but again, it will be designed by a professional firm and submitted to the committee for review by the engineering division.
Okay.
Comment number 2 was grading and construction details for the retaining wall shall be provided. If the retaining wall is more than 4 feet, the wall will need a fence and the wall will be designed by a professional engineer. So our preliminary site work has determined that the retaining wall will likely be no more than 18 to 20 inches. But yes, we will be providing a grading plan and construction details for the committee.
Okay.
And then number 3 was a detailed grading plan is required prior to the issuance of a building permit. And so we will submit that for review as soon as it's ready.
Okay.
Item number 4, if lights are being installed, a photometrics plan shall be provided prior to issuance of a building permit. So there will be some amount of lighting, accent lights for the interior, security lighting similar to what's in place around the rest of the campus. So regarding that request for the photometrics plan, we're wondering if it would be okay if the lighting information is included with the electrical plan or drawings. And obviously that could be submitted to you guys, will be submitted to you for review prior to issuance of the building permit.
Okay. That should be fine.
Great. Number 5 was the applicant should indicate if a sound system will be used for services or music. And the answer is yes, there will be a sound system installed. Given the anticipated layout of the pavilion at this point and the seating, the speakers will be pointing towards the building and away from any neighbors. Not that we expect to be cranking up loud music at all hours of the night, but that's what our plan is at this point. So it will be nominal. And then the last thing was applicants should provide typical hours of use for the outdoor pavilion. And as is the case for the rest of our campus, it's essentially dawn to dusk.
Okay. Do you have anything else to share with the commission at this point? If not, we'll see if there's questions.
No, the only other thing we'd like some feedback on is if there's anything else we should be aware of and that type of thing. So sure, if there's any questions further, that'd be great.
Thank you, Luke. And Shannon, thank you. All right, commissioners. Patrick, do you have any questions for the applicant?
I mean, yes. The only question I have is, have you talked to any of the neighbors? Have you reached out at all? And if you did, what's the feedback for that?
We haven't had any conversation with the neighbors at this point.
Not a public place.
And is there anything else outside, like at this point in time at your facility that has an outdoor? I mean, I know this is going to be a big one, so maybe this is the first one, but is there any outdoor speakers as it stands?
Not that are quote unquote permanent. As I said, initially we have been doing our outdoor masses every Sunday for the last 2 years, in May through October. And there's a sound system that we bring out for that. But nothing installed permanently in any other part of the structure.
Okay, thank you. So you have, okay, yeah, that's right. You did mention that. So you have been using outdoor and there's been no complaints, obviously. So,
yeah.
Okay, thank you. No more questions for me. Thanks.
Yeah, the town has not received any calls at all regarding the outdoor services.
Thank you, Patrick. Mike, do you have any questions?
All my questions were answered. Thank you.
You got it. How about you, Scott?
No, my questions were answered as well. Patrick covered it.
Okay, and why am I losing my train here? Phil, I'm sorry. Phil?
Yeah, it looks like a very nice project. My only question was the hours of operation, which has been answered, because my concern would be if it was going to be used in the evening, rented out, any kind of a party or event, that would be a different use than what's been presented. And I just think it should be a condition of the approval that the hours of operation be dawn to dusk as presented.
That's a good point.
We are anticipating some usage of it for rentals. And we don't, obviously, since it's a new part of our facility, we don't know what to anticipate yet. If it's a requirement that it has to be used dawn to dusk, then we will take that information.
Thank you. Phil, anything else?
No, I guess if the applicant wanted to use it outside of dawn to dusk, I would just want to know more about, the types of events that would be held.
Sure.
And have an opportunity to review if there are neighbor complaints, that if we do give a special permit for use beyond dawn to dusk, that perhaps it'd be for a year, and then the applicant could come back and we could hear from any neighbors if there was an issue and tune up the approval.
Okay.
That makes sense, Phil. Thank you. James, any questions for the applicant?
No questions.
Okay, and how about you, Liz?
Nope, just the hours of operation was my concern, but seems like things have been answered. Thank you.
You got it. You got it. Thank you, Luke, for the presentation. It was done very well. Thank you for the details and answering the engineering comments. For me, it was really the noise and the neighbors. I know you have a lot of land there. I've been at your facility. It's lovely. But we're here to protect neighborhoods, right? So thank you, Phil, for your feedback. I was heading that way too. Commissioners, do we have any other questions before we make a motion? We're good? Okay. All right. Who would like to make a motion, and then we can discuss any conditions? Or if we're comfortable, we can do it with the conditions that Phil suggested. All right, come on, guys.
If nobody wants to make the motion,
Yeah.
I'd be happy to make it. I move that
Please.
we approve the application as presented with the special permit only being for 1 year relative to use in the evenings, should the applicant decide to use it in the evenings. And at the end of the year, we could then revisit whether there have been any complaints or whether the facility has operated in harmony with the neighborhood.
And go ahead,
There's
Jen.
a second.
Okay, sorry, we'll take the second. Sorry, James, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just want to point out that this is a site plan review application. Since the use, it's really not a change of use for the facility. We can still have that condition that it can be reviewed within the 1 year time frame. Quite honestly, if there's complaints about the noise, we're the first ones, first or second. PDs sometimes first, sometimes we are. But it's a site plan. It will not be a special permit.
I think Phil did say as presented though, right? With
Yes.
the conditions. Okay.
Yes.
Is everyone comfortable? Do we know what we're voting for? We're good? Okay. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, it sounds like, well, unanimous. Thank you. So thank you, Luke and company, and your application has been approved.
Great. Thank you so much. We'll follow up with any questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
You got it. Okay, the next item on our agenda is an application from 190 Farmington LLC.
I am
Who do we
here.
have?
Do we have Carlos?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Carlos. How are you?
How are you? Good, thank you.
Good. If you could do the same that you've heard the other applicants do, if you could provide a brief rundown for the commission on what you folks are proposing, please.
Sure. So we're looking to get a gate, and we have two driveways going into the property, the building, 190 Farmington Avenue. But one of the southern entrance, which is a lot of traffic goes in and out, we are not open to the public, but a lot of people confuse the neighbor, which is they do a lot of therapy in there. And not only that, we've been having a lot of vandalism and cutting pipes under the cars for the past 2 or 3 months. We did put cameras on. Seems like did not solve the problem 100% because they go in, they go out. We cannot read the plates. So we're trying to just get a gate, just to don't let cars coming in unless the staff that works at the office. So we just try to ask your permission for that.
Okay. And then you have, the qualification. I think we have all that, right, Shannon?
Yeah.
Correct. Everything that I just scrolled through on the screen was all shared with the commission in advance.
Thank you. All right. Thank you very much for the information. I'm sorry that you're dealing with this. Let's see what the commission thinks of your application. Patrick, do you have any questions for the applicant?
No questions
Okay.
at this time. I read through it all. I'm good. Thank you.
You got it. Mike?
Obviously, you will have visitors and stuff. What will the access be for them? You know, if somebody visits your property.
Yes, so we're going to have an intercom, pressing a button, and the front desk will answer and ask who it is, and we'll make sure to let them in or not.
Okay, and the use for emergency vehicles, you have the siren activated.
Yes, that's the new
access.
technology. We try to do everything what's out there. So
Okay.
and
Thank
actually,
you.
the gate will be open from 6:30 in the morning to 8:30 in the morning when all the stuff comes in. That way is no like backup traffic in Old Mountain Road or anything like that. So
Okay. All right. Thank you.
thanks.
Thank you. Scott?
No
Scott,
question.
do you have any question? Okay, sorry.
I don't.
Thank you.
I was muted, sorry.
All good. All good. Phil?
No, I don't have any questions. It seems like a reasonable solution to the problem.
Thank you.
James?
No questions.
All right. And Liz?
No questions.
Okay, I do not have any questions either. All right, so who would like to make a motion to approve this application from 190 Farmington LLC for the gate?
Let me rip off the Band-Aid on this one, all right? I'd like to make a motion to approve the site plan application to install a gated entrance at 190 Farmington Avenue as presented.
Scott Halstead, I second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, I think that was unanimous. Opposed, I figure I'll ask. Nope, you're good. Nice job on the motion. Second, thank you, Scott. And application is approved. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for all of it.
Thank you. And good luck. Thank you.
Right, thanks.
All right, and next one is a sign application. We have someone here from Sign Pro Incorporated.
We do, yes.
Okay.
Good evening. I'm Tracy Becker from Sign Pro Incorporated. I'm here representing Esporta Fitness. They are another brand used by the company that owns LA Fitness, and they would like to rebrand the locations in Connecticut. So you may have seen some changes to signs in other municipalities as well. And we are now working with the Farmington location. So we're removing the existing LA Fitness signs and replacing them with a non-illuminated backer panel with front lit channel letters So the e-Sporta, just the e-Sporta letters light up, and then the fitness letters are illuminated channel letters as well. So nothing on the background lights, just the letters themselves. So there's a couple of different signs at this plaza, as I'm sure you know. We're just replacing similar size with what is existing already.
Thank you, Tracy. All right, Patrick, any questions?
Is that LA Fitness sign lit up as it stands?
Yes, it is. They believe they're front lit channel letters, the LA Fitness, and the line in between LA and Fitness, I believe, also lights up currently.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Mike, any questions?
No questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Scott?
No questions. Thank you.
Sure. Phil?
No questions. Thank you.
Thank you. James?
No questions. Thanks.
And Liz?
Looks great. No questions.
Thank you. I do not have any questions either.
Great.
All
Thank
right.
you.
No, thank you. All right, let's make a motion on this application, please.
Well, everyone else is jumping in, so I guess it's my turn. First meeting.
Sorry, Liz.
I
because
can't.
you're- Sorry, you can't this
Right.
meeting.
I
Sorry.
apologize. I'm
No,
sorry.
That's
Got
okay.
enthused.
No, I understand.
I'll wait my turn.
Thank you. We
Next
appreciate
meeting.
the spirit was there. Thank you. All right. Come on, gentlemen. Who would like to make a motion?
I'll go again. I'd like to make a motion to approve the sign application for the property located at 1600 Southeast Road as presented.
Second.
Thank you, Phil. All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, opposition. No, I think that was everyone. It's so hard to do this over Zoom, excuse me. So thank you, Sign Pro Incorporated. Your application is approved. Okay, I know Shannon, you're going to communicate with Tracy. So thank you.
Absolutely. Yes, we will follow up because they will be pulling a building permit to then go ahead and make that change. So we absolutely will.
Okay, excellent. And I need your help with that pronunciation, please, of the next item.
Jazura Anthinapali.
All right, thank you. So we received an application that we are looking to accept this evening. Who would like to make a motion to accept this application for COVID-19 testing center with a hearing date of February 7th? Go ahead, sorry.
I move that we accept the application as presented.
With a hearing date of February 7th. You got it. Who would like to second?
I second. This is James.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, you got it. So application has been, I'm avoiding the name, I apologize, has been accepted. Right, so that's it for new business. Thank you, everyone. We're gonna turn this meeting to public hearings. We do have 3 items in front of us this evening. All right, so the first application or applicant is Robert Schlesinger. It's an application for text amendment to Article 2, Section 1B5, Charitable and Philanthropic Institution. And who will be presenting, Shannon?
I believe Biff Schekinger is on the phone. Biff, I don't know if you're taking the lead or if Evan Cole is.
Yeah, I am, and then Evan will. Hi, I'm Biff Schekinger. I'm a landscape architect in the state of Connecticut. With me is Evan Coles, who's the Vice President of the Farmington Land Trust. And we're here presenting our request for a text change to include residential apartment under the Charitable and Philanthropic Institute special permit zone as a component. We've always, and this, I know we're not trying to be too site specific, but the point being this precedent already exists in town for charitable and philanthropic institutions, which Evan will go into. But we also, it always was part of the plan of the land trust, which we got our variance and special permits for from you recently, and they've all been filed in town records. The reason I bring that up is it's always been the intent of the land trust to have an apartment component, and Evan will go into why that's a component that's been desirable for them. And I just want to say that when we do go back, there's actually less of a parking demand and all that under this, because there's a net loss in parking requirement when you go take out the office space area and go to the, substitute the apartment area that we're putting in this is for the Wilcox Bushley restoration of the farmhouse as a component. So when we do come back for the approval for an apartment, all of the approvals that we've received so far will be current, will also accommodate this, and there won't be any need for redoing the special permit other than the change of use and changing the zoning data block on the title page, basically, for the parking requirement. With that one, I'll let Evan go into the particulars of why we've pursued this and also the precedents in town, and then we'll take questions.
I'm Evan Coles. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I live at 148 Main Street, and I'm Vice President of the Farmington Land Trust. First, let me say thank you all for serving, those who are new and those who have been on the commission. I appreciate the hard work you put in. Congratulations. So what we're proposing is a text amendment allowing for basically residential use in nonprofit use in a residential district. So this has kind of been allowed and accepted in town all along. Hillstead has residential buildings, mostly used by staff. The Lewis Walpole Library on Main Street next to my house here has a residential use on their nonprofit property. They used to rent it out. Now it's being used mostly for, I believe, scholars to come in and stay. And the Historical Society, also right next door to me here on Main Street, has a residential unit in those two little buildings that they have on Main Street. And that has been allowed all along. Churches obviously also have residential uses. That's a little bit different than the text change here, but that's just to get you thinking about the kinds of uses that nonprofits will have. But first of all, I have a few points on the benefit to us. All the nonprofits benefit by the income from having a residential use. And the residential use also allows for a more kind of residential feel of what otherwise could become a commercial feeling use of a property within a residential neighborhood. So the nonprofit is allowed use in a residential district, obviously with your permission. So allowing a residential use in the nonprofit is not out of character because it's already in a residential neighborhood. So this is not going against the character of the zone that this nonprofit use is being used in. And the text change does not change the fact that this has to conform to all of the underlying residential restrictions. So again, it's not changing the character, it's not changing the use, it's just allowing this in a nonprofit building or nonprofit property. And the last thing is that it does provide tax revenues. In other words, if the land trust is renting out something in our building, we can't keep that nonprofit. We have to designate that square footage as income producing and pay real estate taxes on that to the town of Farmington. We have reached out to the neighbors and explained all of our uses and what we're planning to do in, this is our West District property that we're renovating, and there have been no objections. In fact, we've gotten a tremendous amount of support from the neighborhood. And if you approve this text change, we're going to be coming back to you to change our site plan approval that we received in December for this residential apartment in the building. So you'll get a chance to review our specific application. We're just asking for this as a general change in the text of your regulations to allow residential use in a nonprofit, on a nonprofit property. That's my presentation, Madam Chair. We'd love to take any questions on.
Thank you very much. It was thorough. I certainly appreciate it. Thank you. And yes, before this is a public hearing, before we turn it over to the public, commissioners, let's go through our list and ask any questions of the applicant. Patrick, you go first.
Yeah, no, thorough. I have no questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Mike?
No questions. Thank you.
Scott?
No questions.
Phil?
No questions. I would just observe that it appears to be a sensible change to our regulations to permit this use.
Thank you. And James?
No questions.
And Liz?
No questions.
All right. I do not have any questions either. Everything that was explained, I appreciate all the information, the use, why, the reasoning behind it. I have absolutely no problem what was shared with us with the application. But this is a public hearing. So Shannon, if you can help me with that portion.
Of course. So folks that have called in, if you are interested in making a comment regarding this application, we ask that you raise your hand using the feature in Zoom, and you will be acknowledged so that you may address the commission directly with your comment or question. Again, we would ask that you raise your hand using the feature in Zoom so that you can address the commission regarding this application if you are interested in making a comment. Madam Chair, there are no hands raised for this matter.
Okay. Thank you. All right, commissioners, before I close the public hearing, any last minute questions for the applicant? Okay, it looks like we're all set. So at this point, we do have enough information to make a decision. The public hearing portion is closed. And then since we have all the information, if we could go ahead with a motion and second, and then we can open it up for discussion amongst the commissioners. So I need a motion and a second, please.
This is Scott Halstead. I move to accept the application to approve the application for a text amendment to Article 2, Section 1B5, Charitable and Philanthropic Institution.
This is James. I second.
Shannon, you got that?
I did, yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay, you got it. All right, any discussion on this application, commissioners? We're good. It's pretty straightforward. We did receive, additional information from the applicants. We're feeling good about it. Okay. So we have a motion. We have a second. I guess now we're gonna vote on the matter. All in favor to approve the application from Robert Schlesinger for the text amendment change?
Aye.
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 Any opposition? Okay, motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening. Thank you very much.
You too. Thank you. Okay, the next item of public hearing item is from Town of Farmington. Shannon, will you be presenting?
I am, and I also, there's Russ Arnold and Jim Rusbason on the phone if there's happens to be more detailed questions that I cannot answer. But briefly, so this is Shannon Rutherford, the town planner for Farmington. We received documentation from Eversource regarding trees that had to be removed on Old Mountain Road. There are a number that are dead, dying, diseased, leaning into the road, variety of reasons. Again, it's all documented. This is the Eversource worksheet that they provided to us with the street address and tree type, diameter, and condition of the tree. So what Farmington did then on the staff side, we went out and the first part is only half the list is really within the scenic road designation. This lower portion of the list is the southern portion of Old Mountain Road and is not within the scenic road designation. So per the ordinance and the designation, it's only from Mountain Spring Road north to the northern intersection with Talcott Notch Road. So we then took this northern section and asked our town surveyor to go out and take a look. Sorry, I've got to go back to this first one. And the town surveyor started at the intersection and worked his way down, and we have, and he was able to locate all the trees and determine which were on private property and which were on town property. And you can see on this portion of the mapping for Old Mountain Road, there were 2 trees that are on the town property within the right-of-way designation. And then in this next section, as we're continuing to move south on Old Mountain Road, there is 1 tree here that's in the town right-of-way and 2 trees located here within the town right-of-way. And you can see where he's noted a handful of these other ones that were also on the list, but they are falling outside the right-of-way and on private property. Eversource has already been in touch with all of the neighboring properties, and they have their own paperwork and documentation they need to do in order to secure authorization to remove those trees that are outside the right-of-way. But the scenic designation, again, was from Mountain Spring north to Talcott Notch and is limited to the portion of the, just the portion that's within the right-of-way. So there are 5 trees that fall within that designation and do need to be removed. The town of Farmington did issue public notification to all of the abutting residents in the entire stretch from Mountain Spring to Talcott Notch. So not just those that are necessarily right in front of a specific tree. We did notification to the entire stretch. Russ and Jim, I know you're on. If I missed anything, do either of you have anything to add to this?
Shannon, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
So just to give everybody, the commission, a background, this scenic road designation goes back to, oh, I want to say like 2003, 2004. And as Shannon indicated, the reason it's before you tonight, as part of that scenic road approval process, any trees that need to be removed on this section needs to have a public hearing. And I think John Dykeman's on the call as well.
He is.
Yep. So these trees here need to be removed in conjunction with their work to protect their services, to make sure that, power is supplied through the system. And that is the reason we're here tonight, for the approval or request for a public hearing to have these trees removed. It is a benefit not only to the town, but outside the town as well, to make sure that they can provide power through the system and not have these trees fall and land on the overall grid. So that's why we're here tonight. And if there's any questions on that, I'm glad to answer anything that anyone has for me. And I don't know if John wants to add anything else.
That sums it up pretty well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And thank you, Shannon, for always being so thorough. Okay, commissioners, before we turn it over to the public, we're going to just go run through our list. If you have any questions for the applicant, speak up. Patrick.
Yeah, no questions. Sounds like it's necessary to protect the grid. So no questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Mike?
No questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Scott?
No questions. I don't think anybody likes losing power, so let's let that happen, right?
That's right. Phil?
My only question is, I should know this, but who is our tree warden in town?
That's Jim Rusbazen. He's on our call. He's our highway and grounds superintendent. He
All
took over for Scott Zenke.
So I guess if he has looked at these trees and agrees with the removal in whole or in part, I would support that assessment. I think it's a good, check to what the power company wants to do.
Right. And I think Jim, he can speak for himself, but we've looked at it together, and yes, we don't always want to cut down trees, Phil, but for the necessity of the bigger whole, I think this is a worthwhile issue.
Thank you.
Jim, are you on?
Yeah, Russ, I'm here. I think it's definitely a benefit to the town. It was designated as a backbone line. I think John will tell you that. And it's an important line going up the mountain there. And I think it needs to be done.
Thank you. James, any questions?
No questions.
Thank you. And Liz?
No questions. I always hate to see trees come down, but I'd rather have them come down in a controlled way than, as you say, in the middle of a storm.
Thank you, all commissioners. I do not have any questions either, but reviewing the photos that were attached, these trees definitely look like they're clearly hanging over the road. A couple, I think, are broken. And, we definitely don't, the power obviously is important, but we don't want any injuries. I remember a few years ago, there was a freak accident where I think a tree hit a car, and that was a bad situation. But yeah, I have no problem with the request either. All right, so Shannon, if you can turn it over to the public to see if anyone is online that has questions or comments or concerns.
Of course. So again, I'll ask the same question. If anyone's called in regarding this public hearing matter regarding the removal of trees along Old Mountain Road, to please raise your hand using the feature in Zoom, and you'll be acknowledged to address the commission. There is one. Let's see here. Okay, Eric Ort, you may go ahead and address the commission.
Happy to. Good evening, everyone. Just in support of the application, I'm speaking on behalf of Duff Ashmead and myself, residents at 345 Old Mountain Road, and we're delighted that this is getting this far along because the trees have been flagged for a number of years and they are dead, at least the two on our property. So this is a comment in support.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else call in to speak regarding this application for Old Mountain Road for the removal of the trees? Okay, Madam Chair, I'm not seeing any other hands raised this evening regarding this matter.
Thank you. All right, commissioners, before I close the public meeting, any any additional questions for the applicant? Going once, twice, okay, so at this point, I would like to close. We have enough information, from the applicant. I would like to close the public hearing on the matter of removal of 5 trees that was presented to us by Town of Farmington. And at this point, I would like to get a motion and a second on this application.
I'd like to make this is James, so I'll make a motion to approve the Town of Farmington's application to remove 5 trees within the Scenic Road right-of-way designation on Old Mountain Road.
Second.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you, James. Before voting, any final comments, discussion?
I just have a quick question, just out of curiosity more than anything else. Like, do we have and I don't know if this is more of a question for Green Efforts, but do we have a policy or something in place where, like, say we're taking 5 trees down, we can plant 5 more in another area of town, something like that? Does anybody know?
There isn't a direct necessarily one for one. If this was, and again, since this is on the roadway edge and the power lines there, we do have homeowners coming in, so they're typically doing their own landscaping.
Right.
But we encourage it outside the right of way. But no, there is not necessarily a 1-for-1 requirement. If this was part of a development, then there are different landscape requirements as part of a development.
Okay, thanks, Shannon.
Certainly.
Thank you, Shannon. Anyone else? Okay, so we have a motion and a second for the application from Town of Farmington. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposition? All right, it's unanimous. Motion carries. The application is approved. Thank you. All right, and the last item on a public hearing item is, an application from Alpine Energy LLC. And who do we have?
Excuse me. Whoop.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Madam Chairwoman, I'm not sure if I even need to do this, but I need to recuse myself because this is a budding property to my husband's business, and I would prefer to be completely above board.
Understood.
And
Thank you,
recuse
Liz.
myself.
Got it. Thank you.
And yes, I believe we have Scott Macbeth on the phone.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, I am here.
Okay, if you could introduce yourself and discuss with the commission what you are looking to do. And I've got, I think I have all the drawings that you had listed, Scott. I'm not sure I have them in the order that you had them listed.
That's all right.
But
You look like you've got pretty much, well, let's go through and see
Sure.
what we have to do. All right. Good evening, everyone. I am Scott Macbeth, and I'm leading the presentation for Alpine Energy on the improvements they want to do at 6 Park Pond Place. Alpine bought the property in September and has they've started the repair of the existing gas station, which Pat and Dorian Grace ran for 40 years in town. About 20 years ago, Pat and Doreen bought the building behind the gas station because their businesses need to expand, and they improved that building to be an auto repair facility. When Alpine bought the property, they looked at the market, they looked at the improvements done in the center of Unionville, and decided it was better. There's one other thing, which is that the auto repair business is going through turmoil right now. So they decided that it would be better to look to the retail market. And so it has been marketed, and we have found the owner of Annapurna Market out of Weathersfield, Niraj Goyal, and his wife, who recently became residents of Unionville, who want to open a store here, and basically this would be their primary store that they would operate. They've signed a lease for the property, and the owners prepared these plans that we're going to go through tonight. I think on the call, I think Niraj is on the call, along with Lyndon Krug, who's the project manager for Alpine, who can handle any construction questions. The first thing we're going to do is look at the site plan, which Shannon has up. And as you come into the property from the lower left-hand corner on that site plan, as you come in, you come down a small hill. Where it meets with the parking lot, we propose taking out a small bit of that landscaped area to meet the requirement of the 20-foot backup, I believe 20 or 23-foot backup requirement from the town. So we would make that change. Over next to the building, there's an existing dumpster area. It is big enough for both trash and recycling, but there's currently no fence around it. And we're proposing a fence with a gate with the slats as recommended by town staff. The next thing we'd like to do is, create new parking in front of the building. Currently, it is all on the perimeter. So we've laid out a total of 9 spaces in front of the building with a handicap van parking space with bollards there to protect the building. Just behind the front parking spaces, approximately where that crossed out area is, that's the open space for the van and for accessing the building. We have about 350 square feet of paving that we need to mill and repave right there because it's basically in bad shape. So we will be looking to do that. The remainder of the existing parking lot, we've just restriped. We're going to provide 18 full-size parking spaces and 5 compact spaces. We've worked with the town and believe that that meets all the requirements for how this building will be used. Behind the building, we're proposing building a 4-foot walkway from the parking lot around to what will become a renovated area housing the freezer and the walk-in cooler. So we're just gonna, we would look to do that in asphalt too. And there are going to be, currently there's 1 HVAC unit behind the building right there. And we're proposing, we need to put more HVAC for the retail store as opposed to a auto repair facility. So we would like to put 2 units back there instead of 1. So we'd remove 1, put 2 new ones in. Then I don't know if you have the elevation plan, the north elevation plan. It's the one with picture. Yeah, that one. Thank you. So this looks towards the residential area of Cottage Street, and this is that back area where Shannon has the little pointer. That is where the cooler and the freezer will go. And the one thing that staff has brought up is whether we need to have an emergency egress light on that door. The architect didn't believe it, and we have not been able to confirm that with him, but we will do that and work with town staff on that issue. The remainder of the north elevation is going to remain as is. And then can we go to the south? Yes. Yes, that's the one. It's the south and the east. So let me start with the south. There are a number of changes to the former drive-in auto repair facility. Number 1, we're going to remove the 5 bays, the overhead doors, the trim, and repair of siding as needed. We're proposing installing this new infill to match the existing front and install 3 new 3x5 windows and a new automatic sliding glass door for the entranceway. Above the whole run, we are going to put a gutter system up, and staff has asked that it go 2/3 to the north, i.e. to the left there, to drain into existing vegetation, and approximately 1/3 to drain the other way into existing vegetation, also on the east side of the building. So we're, right now, all of the rainwater from that pretty large roof drains onto the pavement and down to the road sewer. There's two, right now, there's two floodlights, for lack of a better word, on the building. They don't show on the plan, but one over the small door next to the double door entryway into the building, correct. And there's a floodlight there, a two-pronged old style floodlight. And we're proposing doing an LED light. Staff has asked that we keep the color temperature between 3,000 and 4,000. I believe, and Lyndon can help us through the issue, but I believe we're specing a 3,500K for the color temp on that light. And the other light is on the southeast corner of the building, which illuminates really towards the south and not to the east. Correct. So yes, right there. There's a old style two-prong floodlight for the building. So you can see the existing look of the building. I'm going to go to the east side where we are going to, which is correct, right there. And on the east side, like all buildings, the east side takes the pounding from nor'easters up in the northeast. It's weathered. We have, and it really needs to replace. We are going to remove that side and replace to match the existing siding and fix the trim around the door. The applicant's also proposing over on the side currently, all the way to the right on the east elevation, there is a garage door. We are going to, again, fill in the garage door and have a single 3-foot door so that we can access to the coolers and the freezer area. Again, we replace it to match. And the last thing is that we propose a dual LED emergency light over the egress door. Shannon, can we go to the architectural plans A11? So this is a look of how the building is currently laid out. Obviously, the big open area is the former auto repair facility. To the right of that was just the typical office space built out for an auto repair facility, a waiting room, a business office. They had a little break area. The proposal for this is to turn the auto repair facility into the retail store. On the right, Naresh does not want to use that space for anything really but the two bathrooms. And then behind the retail space in crosshatched is, again, the freezer and the cooler area of the building. At the A1 1.2 is the other one, if we can go to that one. And that basically shows what we're doing is we're taking an old repair facility, dropping in a standard drop ceiling with LED lights, air conditioning, and we are just basically improving it to a retail standard, what's called a vanilla shell, for Naresh to run his business. Again, he doesn't plan on using the office space beyond the bathroom. He proposes hours of operation of 10 to 8. His deliveries generally are in the morning from 10 to 12 when he's there. And location for those deliveries, the produce will be front loaded off the double door, and the freezer cooling and items that need cooling will be taken to the back entranceway into that down that walkway. So thank you for your time. Happy to answer any questions you have, but your town staff has been great, and you're a very lucky town to have so many good people over there.
Yes, we are. Thank you. All right. Is there anyone else from that will be presenting, or that's it for the presentation this evening?
We're just available for questions. Thanks.
You got it. Okay, sure. Thank you. We appreciate it. All right. Applicants, excuse me, commissioners, before we turn this over to the public, here's a chance to ask question of the applicant and presenter, of course. Patrick, you're first.
Yeah, so one of my questions was going to be about the deliveries. You did answer them. I'm assuming, seeing that the delivery time is between 10 and 12, the store is open at that point. I'm assuming it's not a tractor trailer. It must be a box truck at the most.
I would assume so too. I actually don't know, and I don't know if Naresh can answer that, but I have met with Naresh many times. It is not the busy time of his store, 10 to 12. That is always when I meet him, early in the morning. And if there generally aren't people there until the afternoon. But I assume it is box truck. There's it's not a Stop and Shop. It's it's a specialty foods store. So he does not have really large deliveries.
Okay, thank you. And the other thing, another question I had, I was reading through town comments, and one of them was about the bollards being moved closer to the parking, so to allow access in between the parkings and the building. Is that something you guys put thought into?
We will do whatever the town would want on that issue. We just need to make sure we have proper spacings.
Okay, and Shannon, I'm assuming this question is for you. I'm assuming that's to have some type of sidewalk, right? I mean, you picture people getting out of a car and kind of going up towards the building rather than down and around.
Correct. I mean, it's just a 4-foot path, but if the bollards are moved to the edge, it's either a 4 or 6 inch bollard. It would at least then allow a clear pathway between the bollard and the face of the building. Correct.
And yeah, okay. And just by looking at that, I kind of feel the same way. It seems like that would make sense. You're kind of direct shot to the building and over. Okay, thank you.
All right, Patrick, thank you. And Mike?
Fine with the special permit and everything. Just a question about the actual stores. It's similar to the Weathersfield store. I noticed it was more of a grocery store, but also had prepared foods and stuff. Is that the plan for the store as well?
This store is really going to be a grocery store. Down in Weathersfield, he does have a little restaurant, a little seating area, but he does not plan on doing that in this location.
Okay, thank you. No further questions.
Thank you, Mike. Scott?
No, I don't have any additional questions. Patrick actually covered mine, so I'm good.
All right, thank you. Phil?
I have a few questions. The lighting seems to be a bit inadequate for parking in front. I would think that you would want more lighting, at least on the south elevation, so that people getting in and out of their cars can see where they're stepping. And I could not tell from the plans where all the lighting was. It looked like it was called emergency lighting. but that would be a concern that I have, that you have sufficient lighting for your customers. Is the sign application going to be separate?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
That's going to be done by the tenant.
Okay. Will there be any outside sales? In other words, product displayed outside of the building?
I don't know the answer to that, but he does not currently do that. No. If Naresh is on, he can answer that.
Yeah, I'm not seeing him on, Scott. Yeah, Naresh, if you're on as an attendee, you can raise your hand and I can activate your microphone, but I'm not seeing him on based on what I can see. Hang on, I got a panelist that raised their hand. Hang on. Oh, Scott, okay. Scott, you're on twice. So Scott, somebody listed as Scott.
How did I get on twice?
So maybe that's, I don't know. Naresh, is that you that are you're
Yes.
listed on under Scott?
Yeah,
Okay, can you address the question with respect to outside sales?
yeah, it will be inside everything. Everything will be inside, nothing will be outside.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Will there be a generator?
Sorry?
Will there be a generator in case there's a power outage?
That I think Scott knows. We were planning for that, and that I think Scott knows about that. I don't know about the building stuff. I can tell you about my my inside business. So building, Scott knows, I think. Scott?
Right now, there's not a plan for a generator location outside. We'd have to come back in if the tenant decides to put a generator in.
Yeah, and my only concern with a generator is when you test it, that it be, so that we're not bothering the neighbors, no weekends, no early morning, no evening, keep the testing of it in the middle of the day. And also, depending on what type of generator it is, if it's, fueled by diesel fuel, you need to have some sort of containment around it so that, if there was an oil leak, it wouldn't go into the water body that's right there. That's just a concern that I have. And then I have a question for, maybe Shannon can answer this. What % lot coverage do we currently have and what's proposed?
That I believe is calculated here on the zoning chart. So the lot coverage calculated is 68.7, and there is no change. So they did talk about this area of the site plan having to change. There was a small area here that is changing from landscaping to pavement to accommodate the backing of vehicles. And then there is this pathway that's being added in exchange. There's a small area here, portion of existing bituminous to be removed and replaced with seed to be lawn and seeded. So they took out some very small areas of landscaping and then put back in an area of lawn and seed so that there's no net change in impervious coverage. But that is one of the reasons why Mr. Sear and I are asking them to try to infiltrate the roof leaders to the extent possible, or at least get them into the lawn area rather than simply sheet flowing off. It'll provide an opportunity for the roof water to get into some of the lawn area and hopefully have some reduction in the stormwater runoff that we're seeing from this property.
Thank you. I don't have any other questions.
Thank you, Phil. James?
No questions at this time. Thanks.
No, you got it. Thank you. I know this was already stated. Can you confirm the hours of operation again?
From 10 to 8, Monday through Saturday, and then from 10 to probably 6 on Sunday.
Okay, and Did you talk about the garbage removal? Like what, is it gonna be after 6 AM? Or do you know what the
Yes.
plans are?
Yes,
Okay,
we have to work with the operator, but there's no reason to do it early.
yeah, okay, good. And Shannon, did we get any feedback from the neighbors?
I do not have any written correspondence from the neighbors, but I do have written correspondence from EDC. And I have had neighbors make inquiries. I believe one of them is on the phone this evening.
Okay, so maybe they'll have
So I can
additional
share,
questions.
sure, when you folks are ready, I can share the EDC letter and then I can go to those that have called in.
Okay, I do not have any other questions, and go ahead, share the letter, please.
Okay, so up on the screen is the letter of support that was received from the Economic Development Commission. The applicant met with the Economic Development Commission on December 8th. I'm not going to read it verbatim into the record. This letter was shared with the commission prior to the meeting. It is part of the record and it is here on the screen to be part of the hearing record as well. So, and again, it is a letter of support. So as noted in the final paragraph from Mr. Wadsworth as chair of the EDC. So that is all the
Okay.
written correspondence received.
Excellent, thank you.
Certainly.
All right, so I guess we can turn it over to the public to see if anyone is on the meeting that wants to comment.
Certainly, and we do have one hand raised already. And I'll simply state if there's others that have called in that want to comment, please go ahead and raise your hand and you will be called upon in turn to address the commission. And Bob, you should be able to activate your microphone at this point and address the commission. Please provide your name and address.
Good evening, Robert Sanford, 1790 Farmington Avenue, Unionville. I'm president of Sanford and Hawley and vice president of the Avon Building Supply Company. Avon Building Supply owns a residential house at 38 Cottage Street. Both of our entities are excited to have a new neighbor. The only question we have is with regard to the dual bulb LED lights on the eastern elevation. Just want to confirm that those are emergency lights that would go on in an emergency and not, beyond during the evening hours when residents on Cottage Street might enjoy darkness.
Okay, and we can have the applicant address that. Are there any other questions or concerns that you have for the applicant?
We do not, and again, we generally support the application and just have a question on those bulbs and want to make sure they don't cause nighttime light especially after they close the business.
Certainly. Okay, understood. We will have the applicant address that. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
I will ask, has anyone else called in to provide comment on this application? And if so, please raise your hand using the feature in Zoom. Any other person calling in to offer comment? Raise your hand using the feature in Zoom. All right, Madam Chair, I'm hearing none at this point. If you're in agreement, we can have the applicant address the inquiry made regarding the lighting.
That works. Go ahead.
Okay. Scott, did you hear the question that came in with respect to
I did.
The lights?
Yes, and I think what Mr. Sanford is asking is on the yes, over on that side, the architect did not put a emergency light on the back door facing the residential, but did put a
right. It's not here.
Sure, that one.
Yeah,
But
it's not here.
he did put a light over on the east side facing the Sanford and Holly, you know, the shed they have there, the large shed.
Yeah, because there's going to be, basically, there's a light here over this door and then
Correct.
a light here. I believe it's going to be
Correct.
over this door.
Correct.
So the
But not a
question
light
is-
on this other door that is, correct, that door.
Correct. There's not a light directed in this way, but the question is just, is the intent for this one, particularly if deliveries are being done during the day, is it your contention then that this is only emergency lighting?
Correct.
It will be downcast. It will be shielded. It's not going to be an open bulb, right? It'll be
Correct.
downcast and shielded. There's wall pack lights that can be used so that it directs down to provide lighting to the walkway, but doesn't shine perhaps into someone's bedroom. Is that an accurate reflection on what your intent is?
That is.
Okay.
And again, we don't have any lighting going to the east side of the property. There is some natural light coming off Farmington Avenue and from you know, from the area itself.
Right. See, I'm just gonna go here. So, right, that based on the architectural elevations, there's two lights here on the front, right? One over the sliding
Correct.
doors, one over the person door.
Correct.
And you've indicated there's one other light here on this corner. It just didn't make it to the elevation.
Correct. On that, where you are in that corner, that is a kind of a floodlight, a two-pronged floodlight there, and there's a two-pronged floodlight over that door currently. And that's where we're proposing having two LED lights.
So the two LED lights will go here, and then will the light here be replaced with another floodlight or?
With a that LED light that we've provided, the 3500 K LED, yeah, the Lithonia, correct, that light.
It looks like it's okay, we will work. So the intent, again, that this is downcast and it's not providing glare to a neighboring property, and it will be shielded if necessary to avoid glare to a neighboring property. Can you agree to that?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at this. This almost looks like it's based on the profile, like it's an under canopy light, but we don't need to necessarily, as long as you're in agreement that the light will be shielded and not provide glare to the adjoining property, then I think we're okay. And that particularly these lights will not be on 24 hours, so.
Is there an agreement? Yeah. Am I missing? I feel like
No,
there's.
no, Scott, you're in agreement, right?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Just making sure 100%. Thank you. Okay.
All right. Anyone else from the public, Shannon?
Anyone else have any other questions or anything? There is a hand raised. I'm glad we looked. Thank you. Lyndon, your microphone should be open. Please provide your name and address, and you may address the commission.
My address is 159 Bar Campstead. My name's Lyndon Crow. I work directly for the owner of the building, and Scott, helping Scott with this project. Those lights on the outside will be 4,000. Usually our company that does outdoor lighting puts them at 4,000 Kelvin. But the light over the door, which you're requesting, will be shielded and just light that walkway. And it won't be. It can be put on a timer if you request, and or it can just be I don't want it to be put on a switch where it would be left on, but we can put it on a timer.
Okay.
If
And
you'd like.
would that be all lights or just these on the east side?
The one on that side in particular, so it doesn't interfere with that neighbor, we'll make sure that that light isn't just left on, that it's put on some type of timer and shut off, you know, when the hours of the building are closed, it will be shut off at that time. So
Perfect.
they can't be turned on. But the rest of the parking lot lights will be on a photo eye.
Photo, so they would be on overnight then?
Well, we just want for security reasons, we might on that side of the door, which is facing right there, the proposed east elevation. That faces Stanford and Holly. There is some corner street light to your right of that. There's a street light right on the corner right there, but I don't think that light at that barn is, the structure is far enough out where that won't interfere with the house. The house actually sits back more towards the back of the building. So it's whatever the town would like. If you don't want that light on, we'll make sure it's not on.
Okay, well, we can take a look at that. I think you might be right with respect to this, that it's out further. We can go back. If nothing else, I think if it's more of a wall pack light, yeah.
Yeah, we use a RAB spotlight.
I'm sorry, excuse me?
We use like a RAB wall sconces, which are very nice. You see them everywhere in most buildings.
Okay, so it does project a downcast light, and there's not a
Correct.
we're not looking at a bulb, or in
Correct.
this case, I realize they're diodes with the LED, but okay. All right, understood. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Of course.
That was good. Thank you for jumping on. So it sounds like that's all we have for public comment. Before we close the public hearing, commissioners, are you satisfied with the responses, with the information that was received?
I'm still concerned about the lighting in the customer parking area, and I don't know how we address that. I don't know if we could leave it to the town staff, to put their eyes on it when, the construction is done, and they can make a determination as to whether there's sufficient lighting in the parking area. But right now, what I see does not seem to be sufficient.
Shannon, what's your thinking on that? Phil's suggestion of applicant working with the town staff obviously is sensible. Is that,
We
does that work
can,
for
I
us?
think this is one of those areas, although it is a back parcel and not right on Farmington Avenue. It is rather open. I think there's other ambient light that there might be with the building lights at the two doors and the one here at the corner. Because this one at the corner, honestly, I've got to make sure that there's not glare too. So we tend to shy away from having floodlights on buildings. So it'll be interesting to see those in place. And then this light here on the eastern side of the building. So, but we can keep this under staff advisement. The only other, to try to get lighting out here, the only other way to do it would be to trench and put a pole in where there hasn't traditionally been one. There is no pole lights out here to my knowledge. So again, I think there is some ambient light because this is open here adjacent to Sanford and Holly for the most part. I know their building comes up with their expansion. The building comes up a little further. But we can continue to work with them. It can be a condition of approval that town staff work with them on the lighting so that there's sufficient lighting, but not providing glare to the neighbors.
Phil, does that work?
Sure, yeah, I just want to make sure that we've looked at it and that to the extent the town staff, can give it a second look, in the field, in reality, that would address my concerns.
Okay, that's fair. Thank you. Any other comments from commissioners before we close the public hearing and we have a chance to ask questions of the applicant? Okay. So at this moment, I would like to close the public hearing on this matter from Alpine Energy LLC. And we need a motion and a second, please, in order to proceed.
Hey, Shannon, you want to put that agenda up? Thank
Yeah, there you go. Sorry, yeah. I was writing some notes. There you go. You're all set.
No, it's fine. This is James. I'd like to make a motion to approve the application for special permit for change of use to specialty food market, grocery store at 6 Park Pond Place in the B1 zone, with a condition to work with town staff on the lighting.
Second.
Thank you, Phil. All right, any discussion on the motion and the second and the condition that was included? Are we comfortable with voting on this matter? Do you want to make any changes? Add any other conditions?
Madam Chair, Michael
Patrick?
Bowles, just
Go
a
ahead.
quick
Thank you.
question. Just clarifying, this is for a special permit for the change of use, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Did they plan on coming back with a site plan? Did they need a site plan?
It's both. So this is special because it's all encompassing. In this particular case, it's listed as a special permit, and it's a special permit and site plan.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Certainly.
You got it. That was actually a good clarification. Thank you, Mike. Patrick, any discussion items for you?
Nope, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. Scott?
I'm good.
All right. And James?
No more comments at this time.
Okay. And Phil, I don't know why I skipped over you. I apologize. Do you have?
I had nothing further to offer, so not a problem.
All right. All right. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay. So we have a motion and a second. Thank you. So let's take a vote. And there you go. Excuse me. Let me rephrase that. All right. So all in favor for the application and site plan approval and special permit for Alpine Energy LLC. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? And we know Liz was recused. Sorry. I don't know why this came up the way it did, but okay, awesome. So
It's okay. It's getting late. That's okay.
I think that's what it is. Yeah. Application is approved. Thank you very much. And we're welcome to the town, and we're excited to have you.
Awesome.
Right.
Yeah, good luck with that, you guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You got it. Okay, thank you, Shannon, for your help getting through that item. So
No
that is
problem.
it. Thank you. That is all that we have for public hearings for this evening. Do we have any items from you, Shannon, for planners report?
We do. There is one item that I put in the agenda review for you folks for planners report. And this has to do with 7 Copper Mine Road. And this was a special, this was a subdivision application that came in middle of last year, I believe, or let's see if I can get a date here for you folks. Subdivision application that was approved. And at the time that the application came through, so May of 2020, right? So we finished the approval. There was a wetland approval and then a TPZ approval. And obviously nothing has proceeded with COVID being the way it is, and has put a halt on a lot of things. But at the time that this was approved, it was proposed to maintain this existing house and garage. And now, of course, there's been another year and a half of nothing being able to proceed with this property. And it's Sylvain Carrier is the contractor for this. And the house is in now such a condition that it really, it can't appropriately be salvaged and work into this neighborhood. So he is requesting the demolition of this home. And The house is older than 75 years, but it is not on any historic registry. So with the regulations, our town regulations, as I made note of, Article 5, Section 2A, the demolition of any home older than 75 years, any building actually, needs to be brought before the commission for review and just a referral and acknowledgement. So that's why it's before you this evening for discussion. If there's no concerns, then I will go ahead and sign off on the demolition permit for Mr. Carrier. If there is concerns, we can address them, or I can have them come before you at the next meeting in January to discuss any specifics with you further. But again, this is not on a historic registry. So the only reason it's before you is really because of the age being the 75 years. The demo notifications that are required by the building department to the town historian and the historic districts and historical societies for buildings older than 75 years, those have already been made. Those notifications were done by the building department and the building staff. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer.
So this is Inez. So we approved, I remember I was part of the commission. We approved this project. We had lots of feedback from the neighbors, concerns about water wells, about septic, etc. So it doesn't have to go back, the subdivision. So I thought it was going to be this house plus like 3 others.
Correct. So he's not changing. There's no change to the number of lots. So this.
Okay.
So the only thing that's going to change is rather than on this lot 2, this existing house remaining and being refurbished as part of this subdivision. Mr. Carrier is now requesting to demolish this house and will build another home here. So it'll still be 4 lots. It'll still be 4 houses. This will just be a new home in keeping with the rest of the subdivision, and it will have to maintain the setbacks. It'll have to fit all the zoning elements that were already approved. So none of the rest, there is no extra lot, there's no extra house, and there's no other extra allowances that he gets with this other than the condition of the home is such that he's requesting permission to demolish it and then build new. And then, of course, we have the demolition permit in front of us right now. When the time comes, we will have a new home permit and staff will review. We look at not only the location and parameters of the home as it sits on the lot to make sure it will adhere to setbacks. We take a look at the erosion control. We look at all the same things. So when all those things that we look at when they come through before the first time around, when they hit you folks for TPZ, we look at it again when it comes in, because inevitably, whoever purchases this lot, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, they decide, they want a house that's a little more square and they want the driveway to come in the other side of the house. Okay, fine. And then Mr. and Mrs. Smith down here, because we're at the cul-de-sac, we'd like the driveway to come straight in or whatever. So these plans that come before you for subdivision are their best estimate of the home that will be placed on this house. But of course, whoever purchases the lot, and then they will select the specific footprint, presumably from Mr. Carrier. I believe he's intending to build all the homes on this for this subdivision. And then, we have to evaluate these on a lot by lot basis when they come back through for the building permit to make sure that everything is complying.
Makes sense. Thank you for the history on it for everyone else. And I'm okay with you working with the applicant on the demolition permit.
Okay.
On the removal of the home. Anyone else, any of the commissioners have concerns or questions, comments?
Just one clarification. This is Liz. It would be the house and the garage and any other structures.
That is our understanding, yes.
Okay.
Good point, Liz. Anyone else? Okay, Shannon, you're good.
Okay.
So we need to vote, or you're okay with everything? that
No,
was stated?
if as long as, so what the actual reading of the regulation says, the zoning enforcement officer shall refer site plans for all construction, right? And demolition of all principal buildings to the commission for determination of zoning compliance. So as long as there's a general concurrence and no issue, and then we're fine. We'll proceed, and I'll proceed with the sign up. We'll note it as such on the meeting minutes, and I'll
Thank you.
proceed with
Perfect.
the demolition permit. So we're
Okay,
good.
thank
And
you.
that's all I have for you folks this evening for planner's report.
I will ask you, and bridge, the Unionville Bridge, it looks like the work was done, or it seemed like the many times I drove over the bridge. The sidewalk has to be repaired, but did they manage to do the reinforcement of the bridge?
I honestly am not sure how far they got with that before the snow set in. I know they got some of the work done. I don't know if they were able to get that full, because I think it got too cold for them to extend the retaining wall the way they wanted to and get concrete poured.
Got it, okay.
But so I know they were able to get it stabilized for winter. But I believe they have to come back in the spring to finish up not only the sidewalk, but that retaining wall work that they were looking to do.
Got it. Thank you. I was so happy they moved the barrier, the Jersey barriers. Oh my gosh.
Yes, yes, I think everybody was.
Yeah, it was a few times. I'm like, there's no way this car is gonna get by me. But anyway, we survived. So thank you.
Yes. Yeah.
Any commissioners, do you have questions or questions for Shannon? Everyone good? Awesome. All right. So thank you for the report on 7 copper mine. Thank you for the information on the bridge. The last thing before us is the approval of the December 7th, 2021 minutes. Who would like to make a motion?
Scott Halstead, I move to approve the minutes of the December 7, 2021 meeting.
James, I second.
Awesome. Yay. All right. We are all set. Thank you so much. Welcome aboard, everyone. I'm looking forward to working with all of you next 2 years, and hopefully in person at some point. It definitely would be nicer. I had a lot of technical issues. I'm like on 3 different devices right now. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing all of you too. And Shannon, thank you for your help as always. We had a productive meeting, lots of good things happening. And I guess at this point it's 8:53. The meeting is adjourned.
We are adjourned. Thank you everyone for calling
Yay.
this evening.
Awesome.
Thank you.